Welcome to the program once more. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim and our sign language interpreter at the bottom end of your screen is Joyce Warimu. Stick around for the 35 minutes or so where we have the latest for you. Now first, let's start here in Nairobi, where a truck full of beer rolled over on the busy Westlands roundabout, where several witnesses had a chance to take the spoils. Commuters, hawkers and matatu crew were among the group which rushed to the accident scene to grab a beer. According to witnesses, the driver lost control and no one was injured in the incident. Police officers were able to secure a few crates of beer once they arrived at the scene. Now to the world of politics, where the Anglican Church of Kenya Archbishop Joseph Ole Sapit and Senate Speaker Kenneth Lusaka have urged politicians against hijacking the Building Bridges Initiative report instead of leaving it upon Kenyans to read and understand the document. Addressing the media after hosting Canterbury Archbishop Justin Welby at St. Stephen's Church here in Nairobi, the two leaders noted BBI report should be people-centered and not few individuals in the country. Our reporter Jeff Haemba with the latest on that particular story.
As the Kenyans wait for the BBI report to be unveiled to them, the political shove might over the report seems to be getting tougher day by day. Church leaders led by the ACK Archbishop Jackson Ole Sapit, Canterbury Archbishop Justin Welby, and the Senate Speaker Kenneth Lusaka has called upon the political class to tone down the political temperatures.
BBI is a domestic Kenyan political and social project. It is not for foreigners to tell you what to do. What I pray for Kenya is for integrity and transparency in your politics.
So nobody in this country has the right to demean others or to tell others things that are not good. So we want to urge the political leaders of this country to tone any derogatory messages to each other, shun any abusive language.
I think it's too soon. We need to slow down on a lot of this politicking, but I think yesterday was a good show when all the leaders joined together to sensitize people on the BBI, because there's a need to build the country. There's need for us to be peaceful, because if we don't come together, then we continue dividing the country.
The ODM leader Raila Odinga and his lieutenants hit the road running, drumming up support for the BBI report, with the leaders fronting for an expanded executive with a powerful prime minister. According to Sapit and Kenneth Lusaka, BBI has been taken over by the political class, denying the common mwananchi an opportunity to read and understand.
Let it not be taken over just by the politicians and make it a political tool, but let it be a document that Kenyans will be able to discuss the great things that BBI has established. And I'm praying that the final document, when all the input has happened, now will lead us to a moment where we are going to sift and say what areas need legislation, which areas need policy, and which areas need constitutional change. But let Kenyans now have an opportunity to talk, and let all of us listen to one another in equal measure.
The governors serving their second term, led by Wycliffe Oparanya of Kakamega and Hassan Joho of Mombasa, have also joined the bandwagon by demanding for the formation of a regional government, a suggestion proposed by the ODM leader in the Bomas draft report. And Nairobi County Women Representative Esther Passaris, who jetted back from India after a successful surgery, supported the comeback of the former provinces with a representative.
And there would be nothing wrong with having a third tier, okay? When I first heard it, I thought it was about creating a position for somebody. But we are the voters, isn't you? Yes. You're the ones who will decide. Yes. So when you have a governor, and you have 2-3 governors, right? And then you have an overall regional person, it is like the Council of Governors being broken down into regions. I don't see a problem with it. Lakini let's not recycle bad leaders, si ndio? Kuna wengine ambao hawajafanya kazi, si ndio? Wale ambao hawajafanya kazi, tafadhali wasitafute nafasi hapo juu. We don't have to stay in government to make a change and a difference.
According to the women rep, representatives of the regional government should be leaders of a transformative record.
You know, me, I'm a referee, like you have rightly said. I don't want to get into the intrigues of the BBI because the document may eventually end up in Parliament for some legislation to be enacted into law. So
Raila Odinga so far traversed the counties of Kisii, Kakamega and Mombasa in their consultative BBI meetings, which has turned political, with the name calling pitting the allies of Deputy President William Ruto and those of President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. Reporting for Ebru TV, I'm Jeff Khaemba.
Still within the capital, President Uhuru Kenyatta today attended the installation of a new presiding bishop of the African Inland Church. The president, who was joined by Deputy President William Ruto, attended the ceremony at AAC Milimani Church in Nairobi County, where Bishop Abraham Mulwa was installed as the new presiding bishop. Bishop Mulwa takes over from Bishop Silas Yego, who served in the position for 18 years. Bishop Paul Kirui was installed as deputy presiding bishop.
Speaking to the congregation, the president thanked Bishop Yego for his steadfast leadership of the church over the years, during which AIC, founded in 1895, significantly grew its footprint in the country and the region.
Like that servant that was left and given his talent, you have been a worthy servant of your master. You have multiplied it, and you are handing over.
In his speech, the newly installed Bishop Abraham Mulwa called upon Kenyans to be hardworking citizens, just like Joseph, as he is described in the Holy Book.
Katika Biblia kuna mifano miwili mizuri ya mawakili ambao walifanya kazi vizuri kabisa. Wakili mmoja ni Yusufu, yule ambaye alikuwa nchini Misri, alifanya kazi katika nyumba ya yule Potifa.
President Kenyatta urged Kenyans to remain united and called on leaders to always remember that leadership is a call to serve the public. The president gave his gratitude to the outgoing bishop for his amicable work.
The reason I'm very happy that we have Bishop Mulwa is that we are at a time in our country when we've decided to stop a cycle of 50 years of ethnic disunity.
Vile viongozi wenzangu wamesema, hii ni hawamu ya sisi wote kama Wakenya kuungana, kushirikiana, kufanya kazi pamoja, ili kwa kweli tuyatimize malengo ya Mathayo 5:9 yanayosema heri wapatanishi.
Other leaders who attended the service included Deputy President William Ruto, former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, Senator Majority Leader Kipchumba Murkomen, Baringo Senator Gideon Moi, and Nairobi Senator Johnson Sakaja, among other leaders.
And in other news, the fate of Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu will be known next week on Tuesday and Wednesday, when the Senate convenes for a special sitting to hear impeachment charges filed against Waititu by members of the Kiambu County Assembly. Speaker of the Senate, Kenneth Lusaka, confirmed that the House has already summoned the governor and MCAs for the hearing.
The 67-member House of the Senate will sit for 2 days, January 28th and January 29th, to hear the charges and make a decision whether to uphold the decision of the Kiambu MCAs or dismiss the charges.
To all the submissions made by colleagues.
If one of the charges is upheld, Waititu will stand impeached and therefore cease to be governor. Of the 9 impeachment charges brought to the Senate, Waititu's will be the second to be heard by the plenary. Waititu, his wife Susan Wangari, and 8 others are facing graft cases after being accused of irregularly awarding themselves 580 million Kenyan shillings tenders. Waititu also faces charges of abuse of office by awarding tenders to get kickbacks. As a result, Waititu and the MCAs will appear before the full House during the sitting to defend their cases. The recalling of the House comes after the senators, at a special sitting on Tuesday, shot down a proposal to form an 11-member special committee to investigate the charges.
Senator Linturi to know. And I want Mr. Speaker...
Senators opposed to the establishment of the committee argued that a majority of its members from the Jubilee side are allied to Tangatanga wing of Jubilee Party, supporting Governor Waititu, a key ally of Deputy President William Ruto.
They were justified initially to take longer in the same subject matter. That's why.
They also believe that with a Tangatanga majority, the committee will be easily manipulated. Waititu is associated with Tangatanga, and therefore a majority of the senators, including Isaac Mwaura, believe that the committee may not bring a fair report to the House.
Mr. Speaker, those are very serious allegations.
They also argue that it lacked the necessary competence and independence to hear the charges, on the basis that some of the proposed names rarely attend House and committee meetings. Busana Naman for Ebru TV.
Is it in order for him to depart from...
Now to a story that has created a global concern. More than 2,000 people have been infected with a new coronavirus, the vast majority in China, where 56 people have died from it. President Xi Jinping, during a meeting on Saturday, said that China was facing quote-unquote grave situation as health authorities around the world scramble to prevent a pandemic.
The virus, believed to have originated late last year in a seafood market in the central Chinese city of Wuhan that was illegally selling wildlife, has spread to Chinese cities including Beijing and Shanghai, as well as the United States, Thailand, South Korea, Japan, Australia, France and Canada. China has announced a nationwide ban on the sale of wildlife in markets, restaurants and e-commerce platforms. Wild and often poached animals packed together in Chinese markets are banned as incubators for viruses to evolve and jump the species barrier to humans. Snakes, peacocks, crocodiles and other species can also be found for sale via Taobao, an e-commerce website run by Alibaba. This outbreak has put many countries on high alert. On Wednesday, the Kenyan government said surveillance and screening of passengers for coronavirus has been intensified in all ports of entry. In a statement from the government, and I quote, an alert has also been sent to all 47 counties through the directors of health and governors to widen efforts. According to the World Health Organization, symptoms of the coronavirus include coughing, sneezing, fever and shortness of breath. Severe cases can also lead to pneumonia, kidney failure and even death.
This is, though, an emergency in China, but it has not yet become a global health emergency. It may yet become one. WHO's risk assessment is that the outbreak is very high risk in China and a high risk regionally and globally. 584 cases have now been reported to WHO, including 17 deaths. 575 of those cases and all of the deaths have been reported in China.
The outbreak has prompted widening curbs on movements within China, with Wuhan, a city of 11 million, on virtual lockdown, with transports linked all but severed except for emergency vehicles. The United States says it will evacuate some of its citizens from the city at the center of the outbreak. Winnie Lubembe for Ebru TV.
Now let's come back to the country and let's head over to Embu County, where desert locusts have now invaded Mogoka farms in Embu County as farmers continue to grapple with the menace. The locusts landed in Bere South from Kitui and are ravaging shrubs and green pastures in Kiambere and Mutuvare villages. They have now spread to Mariari and Mavura villages, where Mogoka is grown in large scale. The swarm have been wreaking havoc in 10 counties now.
Kuja kufuatilia hawa nzige ambao tumekuwa nao kutoka tarehe 28 Disemba. Waliingia kutoka nchi jirani hapa, na tunafuatilia kuangalia je tunaweza kuwakabili na kuwamaliza kabla hawajaleta athari mbovu. Kwa hivyo toka tarehe 28 wamekuwa katika kaunti 9 sasa. Kaunti ya Mandera, Marsabit, Samburu. Hapa tulipo ni Samburu, Isiolo na Garissa na Meru kidogo. Sasa wako Kitui na Baringo. Kwa hivyo ni katika hali ya kuangalia yale makundi, wamejigawanya katika makundi kama 10 hivi. Changamoto kubwa ni kwamba sehemu ambazo ziko ni sehemu ziko remote sana. Kwa hivyo inabidi uende masafa marefu sana. Saa nyingine hakuna network. Kama sasa hapa tunataka kuambia wale na ndege waje hapa, lakini hakuna network.
Now to the education sector, where the first 5 years of a child's life are the most critical for their development, and by investing the high-quality early childhood development and education, ECD countries will be providing a platform for children to thrive throughout the entirety of their education. Across the world, an estimated of 258 million children are locked out of school, while over 600 million teenagers are unable to read or do basic math.
With the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution, the role of early childhood education was assigned to the county governments, bringing the service closer to the people. This presents an opportunity for each county to budget and support children's education. Many counties have achieved a lot, while others still have an opportunity to ensure ECDE is well budgeted for. Some of the challenges hindering most counties from achieving these goals include teacher-student ratio, in some instances at 40:1, poor facilities with no books or toys, and accessibility of ECDE centers. In some instances, children have to walk long distances without getting healthy snacks to keep their energy up for learning. Nutrition is thus one of the other major challenge, with most counties not having managed to budget for the feeding program for the entire year. Some counties have put great focus on early learners and gone ahead to invest in quality learning facilities with safe water, kitchens, furniture and toilets, as well as age-appropriate learning materials. Some of these counties include Siaya County, Makueni County and Kwale County. Kenya can be a beacon for ECDE, setting the agenda across the region and setting up for other countries to follow. With 76% of children enrolled in ECDE nationally, the foundation is already in place. Kenya is working on establishing itself as a leader in teaching standards. Being an ECDE teacher is its own distinct discipline, requiring a different set of skills from teaching and primary and secondary school level. With it, children will develop crucial cognitive and socio-emotional and motor development skills that are foundation of good literacy and numeracy. Reporting for Ebru TV, I'm Kaindo Stefano.
Now to the corridors of justice, where the Kenya Tea Development Agency has been sued by 3 petitioners of alleged exploitation and subjecting them to economic hardships through inefficiency and mismanagement. Take a look. Farmers have been up in arms at the Kenya Tea Development Agency over the tea prices. The 3 petitioners want a thorough audit of the books of account as well as an inspection of weighing bags and scales, arguing that those have been used to exploit the farmers economically. The High Court has directed KTDA and its affiliate to respond to the petition for hearing and determination. According to the suit papers, the trio say they have contracted by KTDA, which supplies them with green leaf weighing bags, weighing scales and services, transportation, tea processing, as well as conduct tea auction and marketing. And through deduction in their earnings, they pay KTDA for goods and services. The farmers are also accusing KTDA of using fuel, which they term as an outdated energy resource, and supplying to them overpriced fertilizer. KTDA is further accused of using underweight weighing bags and faulty weighing machines, leading to losses. The tea farmers claim they have suffered massive financial losses and violation of their consumer rights because of the breaches and wrongful acts. The petition comes in the wake of claims by a legislator in Kirinyaga County that cartels in KTDA were using faulty weighing machines to exploit farmers. President Uhuru Kenyatta directed the Agriculture Ministry and the Competition Authority of Kenya to strip KTDA directors of role as a resource aimed at recouping gains for tea. Now to the international front, where in Myanmar, an escalation in conflict between ethnic armed groups and government forces over the last year has resulted in an increase in civilian casualties amid mounting allegations of war crimes, with a recent UN court ruling that Myanmar must protect Rohingya Muslims from acts of genocide. Other ethnic minorities are coming forward to voice their concerns over past documented atrocities. Steve Stanford reports from Thailand.
Shan villagers long for peace here in the mountainside hamlet of Painlon, amid fighting between government forces and the Taang National Liberation Army, an ethnic armed group based in the region. What is especially distressing is the increased use of air attacks by Myanmar's army to make up for limited land access to the mountainous region, increasing the risk to civilians being caught in the crossfire.
The sound of the helicopters was very terrifying, and the loud explosions falling around the village were terrible. It doesn't matter if they were falling in the town or just in the area. The sound of the explosions were very frightening for the kids.
About 8,000 civilians were displaced by fighting in Shan State in 2019, with thousands more uprooted by skirmishes in Kachin, Karen, and Rakhine states. Observers like Shan rights activist Chamtong worry that international businesses will continue to ignore much of the allegations of war crimes by Myanmar's army, emboldening them to continue such acts.
There's no international pressure, and that they can commit such crimes and also such attacks with no accountability.
The constant threat of sudden attacks has increased stress for many of the displaced children in the ethnic regions. For parents like Mary Rana, protecting their children from the bombardment of bad news is an overwhelming task. Rana says her 10-year-old son Nadin has become less talkative in recent months, expressing his fears through artwork.
I told my son not to worry because things will get better. You don't need to be scared. I try to make him feel better and safer. I told him the fighting and conflict will get better. I try to cheer him up.
As the fighting continues in the resource-rich regions of Myanmar, rights groups and refugees are hoping that the increased international scrutiny on the military will bring with it accountability and security for civilians. Steve Sanford for VOA News, Chiang Mai, Thailand.
Now to the state where the first week of the U.S. Senate impeachment trial of President Donald Trump came to a close on Saturday as president lawyers began their defense, arguing that he had done nothing wrong in the dealings with the Ukrainians.
In a short day of opening arguments, described as a preview of a full defense next week, White House counsel attacked from multiple fronts. First, calling the case for impeachment baseless.
The Democrats accused the president of leveraging security assistance to supposedly force President Zelensky to announce investigations. But how can that possibly be when the Ukrainians were not even aware that the security assistance was paused? There can't be a threat without the person knowing he's being threatened. There can't be a quid pro quo without the quo.
While arguing, the president has broad decision-making powers.
Disagreeing with the president's decision on foreign policy matters, or whose advice he's going to take, is in no way an impeachable offense.
Trump's lawyers also criticized the impeachment managers for guessing about the president's motives.
I'll call you when you've done what I asked. This is, in sum and character, what the president was trying to communicate.
That's fake. That's not the real call. That's not the evidence here. That's not the transcript.
Democrats say that problem can easily be solved by the first-hand testimony that Republicans so far have denied.
My strong impression from the first 2 hours is that the case for witnesses and documents has gotten even stronger.
Democrats seeking the testimony of several former and current administration officials, including Ambassador John Bolton and acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney, who told reporters last year the aid was tied to the president's demands.
If this was really about Donald Trump fighting corruption, why did they hide it from Congress?
Why didn't they tell Congress and the American people what they were doing? And the reason they didn't tell the American people what they were doing is because it was a corrupt shakedown to get Ukraine to help them cheat in the election.
Just 2 hours of Trump's defense appeared to have more effect on Republicans than days of Democrats' arguments.
We've had 23 hours of hearing nothing but snippets and one point of view. In this 2 hours, I think they made more headway than the entirety of what they laid on us with mountains of information, minutia, and just not getting to the point.
The trial is set to resume Monday with a continuation of the president's defense. This is Cindy Sain for Catherine Gibson, VOA News, Washington.
Now let's dive into the world of sport, where Tusker blew up a chance to return to the summit of the Kenya Premier League after settling for a 1-1 draw with Ulinzi Stars at Ruaraka grounds. Kakamega Homeboys had wedged out the Brewers from the top spot with 39 points following their 2-1 win over Kariobangi Sharks on Saturday. A win over the Soldiers would have seen Tusker lead the standings with 40 points, but they are now ranked third with 38 points in the only KPL match of the day. Enosho Chieng struck for Ulinzi in the 43rd minute before Timothy Otieno equalized for Tusker from the spot in the 65th minute. Elsewhere, second place Bidco United beat FC Talanta 1-0 at the Camp Toyoyo grounds today in round 22 Super League action. Bidco's scorer Eric Gichimu bagged a goal for his team at the 49th minute, leading his team to victory. Later on, Ushuru showcased their football prowess in the field after trouncing Administration Police 3-1. The win earned Ushuru 3 more points, tallying their total to 36 points.
One of the most difficult games we have ever played. Imekuwa game ngumu sana, but nashukuru vijana wamejituma vizuri na tumeshinda. So 3 points in the bag. I thank the boys and we plan for the next match.
Tulianza game iliharibika by the time tulipata red card. So tulicheza less with one person, and I think the way we had planned, the red card made us change our game plan. Because we have to be more of defending than attacking, because they are more with one person. But I think the results has come out. We only plan now for the next match to see whether we can find positives.
So we are on a recovery path that has been good so far since we started the second leg. This win actually helps us to prepare for our next game against Black Stars here. As you know, we are working so hard to ensure that we get a slot in the qualifying positions.
Vijana wangu walikuwa wameprepare vizuri, mimi mwenyewe nilikuwa nimeprepare vizuri, lakini saa zingine game inakataa. Ukiangalia hata ile mchezo wamecheza, it was a very positive game. Walikuwa wanafikisha ball mbele, tumefika kwa goli yao mara kadhaa, lakini hatujautilize chances. Hao wamepata chances 2, wakaongeza ya 3 with a silly mistake na wakatuwai.
Golf Club's Simon Gige, Muthaiga Golf Club's Greg Snow braved a difficult condition on course to shoot a round of 70 apiece on the first round of the Sigona Golf Club leg of the Safari Tour Golf Series to end the day as joint leaders, one shot better than the nearest challenger going into the second round. Gige cugged first 9 total of 35, having hauled bridges at the par 3, third of the par 5 ninth, with this only dropped short on the first 9, coming to par 4. First, Snow carded a first 9 total of 36, having hauled bridges at par 4 second and the par 3 third, but having dropped shots at par 5 fourth and par 5 ninth.
No, you know, I was here yesterday. I needed to come here, at least to see golf course. This golf course, I haven't played here for a long time. So I needed to know where to place my ball, which club to hit from the tee. You know, it's very important to hit the ball in fairways, because there, if you can see now, there's a very big laugh. If you miss the fairway, you're in trouble. So that was my plan from yesterday. Just try to keep the ball in play, and then you can score. That was the secret for my game today. So I'm swinging my golf club nicely. I couldn't putt well today and yesterday, but I'm going back on the putting green this afternoon, and we'll see what will happen tomorrow.
Well, those NBA results brings us to the end of our bulletin this evening. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim, and a sign language interpreter at the bottom end of your screen has been Joyce Wairimu, and to the team in the gallery that has done an exemplary job to this bulletin, thank you so much, and we wish you a good night.